Tyler, Keith, plugged on. We're here with the review of the new Visigoth album, Conqueror's Oath, or as the cool kids say, the rev of the album.
That is, we got a new rev up for you.
This guy. Cut your hair. You're all hipster now.
Hipster. It's, these guys, I like these guys because nobody's ever heard of them.
Yeah. So this is their second album, Visigoth, is Metal Blade Records, and their first album, The Revenant King, dropped in 2015, and it's as Donkey would say, it's a masterpiece.
It's a masterpiece.
I think that album is just incredible. Basically, this band is a traditional heavy metal band, lots of Iron Maiden influence, lots of, you get thrash in there, some old school rock and roll in there as well.
A little bit of power metal.
And their first album was just magical. The whole thing is just perfect if you're a fan of that stuff, and even if you aren't, I think you should at least check it out. I mean, just hearing the opening riff to the title track, The Revenant King, just gets me pumped up. And that whole song is just 8.5 minutes of just goodness. But then you have, like, Dungeon Master and Iron Brotherhood. I'll never forget picking up Visigoth's album, and me, and Luke are coming home, and we first heard Iron Brotherhood, that middle section. It was like, our jaws just dropped. We're like, this band is amazing. That whole thing is just awesome. So yeah, we're very excited for Visigoth's new album, Conqueror's Oath. So regardless, what'd you think?
I really like this album. There's a little bit of worry, going up into this, because again, as we said, The Revenant King is such a great album. How could this match up in any way? And I'd still maybe say it's their first album's better, but I mean, this is definitely a close second. And I just think it's because their sound's even more tight in some ways on this album. I feel like the strong song structure is maybe a little bit more straightforward in some spots. Like, there's not really any long epics, like, say, from the Arcane Mists of Prophecy or The Revenant King, which are, like, I think together those songs are like 20 minutes long. But, like, they're still, like, great songs on this album. I mean, Silver and Steel is a perfect example of just a great opening track and just a great song. And same thing with the other song that probably sticks out the most in my mind is Outlive Them All, which is awesome. And it's like every song is enough where it sticks out in some way. Whether or not it's like Hammerforge with like with the main riff, which is awesome, or like the intro and whatnot, or Warrior Queen, which has definitely more of a rock vibe. The same thing with Salt City, whereas maybe one of the weaker songs in the album, it's still distinct and very memorable part of the album. That song is a very like Kiss, Thin Lizzy kind of vibe, is what I kind of get from that. And even The Traitor's Gate and the title track, Conqueror's Oath, like each song is distinct, and that's something that even some of like the bands that I love the most, like maybe you should say for like Anthrax or any band like that, maybe at least the songs kind of are of a similar kind of style and feel, whereas like every single song on this album feels different and it feels distinct, and that's great. Jake Rogers' vocals are as good as they were on the last album, and there's parts where I just think they're just maybe even better.
I would say so, yeah.
Like, the middle section right after, towards the end of Outlive Them All is a perfect example of that, or the acoustic guitar part in the beginning of Hammerforge, or like just these great vocal moments. And I think that also comes with ever so slight, not terribly, as slightly cleaner sound. Like, it's not as dirty and grungy as their first album was, which is what kind of helped with the feel of their first album. But it's still there, but it's a little bit more refined, to the point which is just enough where it just makes it sound better. It doesn't take away from that raw energy that this band has. And You know, if you want, depends like what do you want? Do you want like just epic like old school traditional heavy metal sounds? You go with the Conqueror's Oath. You want something that's a little bit more on the fast side? You go with Outlive Them All. There's a little bit of everything on this album. And I think that's what makes this album stand out so much. Is that again everything is distinct and it all sounds great. And it's just a fun album. You can like, you know, sometimes listening to an album, you know, if you listen to it on repeat or whatever, it gets tiresome. Not with this album. This album, you can just keep cranking it over and over and over again, and it's great. And it's still as compelling as it was the previous 3 times you listen to it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and I even feel that way about the first album. You can just listen to that over and over again. And I think between this album and their first one, like, there's good songs on here, but when I listen to it, I want to hear the whole damn thing from start to finish, because it's just so good. And like you said, there's so much variety, you know. Steel and Silver is just one of the most epic songs I've ever heard. And that's one where I'm like, Jake Rogers just sounds way better. And like, the production of his vocals is better, but I just think he also probably got better as a vocalist. And like, every time he says during the chorus, I slay like a wolf in the night, there's so much power and ass behind that it's just awesome. That's a song. See, Visigoth has so many moments between this album and their first album where you just want to just throw the horns up, because it's just so badass, it's so heavy, and it's so fucking metal, you know what I mean? They just embody everything about that. And you know, Warrior Queen is their first lead single for this album, and that is a song that I think is definitely better surrounded by Steel and Silver and Outlive Them All. Like, right in between both of them, it just pops off, and it's really good. And I love the just kind of old school rock and roll sort of riff in those Visigoth like vocals, just those big chanty gang vocals sort of things that they do. And then right after they do a little bit of vocals in the riff, they come in with this just fucking awesome guitar harmony as a lead, and I'm like, this is just so good. And then yeah, Outlive Them All is probably potentially my favorite track on here as well, because I just love that song vocally. I love its energy, I love its riffage, and it just has a very good vibe going on throughout the whole thing. But then you get to like Trader's Gate, I think is amazing vocally. Hammer Forge has just a badass riff. Salt City, it has a really goofy riff, but it's a fun song to listen to. And I'd say the only track that that just even going through that I just don't feel is Blades in the Night. That's the only track where I'm just like, it's not bad. It's just, there's not much about it that really makes it stand out.
That, yeah.
But the title track, I think, is amazing, and one of the best songs on here. And I was listening to that song, and you know, through like the third time I listened to this album, I'm like, I love this song because it's Visigoth spreading their wings and doing something totally different. Like, they have this nice like driving rhythm between the drums and the bass, but the guitar work over top of it is something that I would have not expected from Visigoth, or at least that combination. Like, they do some more melodic sort of stuff like that, but at least in that way. And then the vocals over top of it are just fantastic, and that whole song is good, and it's them just doing different stuff. And that's the thing about this band that, you know, you and I were kind of talking about this earlier. Like, they're in such a good position that they could do just about anything with their sound. Like, they could add scream vocals to it for a track with a guest or something. I don't fucking know. And that would just be badass, because they're a very heavy band too. They could add symphonic stuff because they're heavy or they're epic.
Yeah.
You know, they can just do so much. But I love that they keep it simple for the most part. They keep it nice and raw. You know, the production on here is better, but I don't want it to go beyond this. And it's just good. They're good songwriters. They're smart about everything. I feel everything is just really laid out really well. And also, I mean, some of the guitar solos on here are phenomenal. The one that stands out to me is the Conqueror's Oath. Conqueror's Oath has a fucking amazing guitar solo. Probably the best one that these guys have ever done, outside of maybe Iron Brotherhood. That guitar solo is amazing.
That's a good one.
And the Revenant King's good too. Everything's good about this band. I also love that there's only eight tracks on here. Keep it short. Hit you with the 8 best songs you have. Done. You know? It's good.
Repeat.
Exactly. You know, it makes it easier to consume over and over again when it's just 8 songs long. You know? But I do think their first album is better just because, I mean, it's just track after track.
There was a level of, like,
amazing.
Of unexpectancy and whatnot from that.
Yeah.
Because it came out of nowhere.
Yeah. And I just think this is one of the most exciting bands in metal in the past few years. And, you know, I think if you are a fan of Iron Maiden, if you're a fan of Metallica, Judas Priest, Thin Lizzy, I don't even care, any of those old school bands, like, you like what you like, you listen to what you listen to, but I really strongly urge everybody to fucking at least check this band out. If you don't like them, you don't like them. That's totally fine. But just check them out and give them a chance, because this is a band that I just think deserves so much more than what they have right now.
Yeah.
And I know they're still young in their career and everything, but man, they should just have a lot more buzz, because they're strong and they're good, and they really can speak to that crowd really well. So check them all out, man. Check this out. Check their first album out. They're an amazing band. Anything else?
Not really. Hit most of it.
Scores.
9.5 out of 10.
Same for me. 9.5 out of 10. It's very good. I would give their first album a 10 out of 10, to be honest with you. I don't remember what we gave it when we reviewed it.
I don't either.
It's been so long. I might have given it a 10 then. I don't fucking know. But in 2018, I'm giving it a 10, motherfucker.
That's what matters.
Yeah. I know it's still really early in the year, but this is definitely the front runner for album of the year. To me, personally, like, there's only really 2 albums I've listened to that I'm like, that's a really good stuff, and that's this and the new Tribulation album, Down Below. It's really good. I mean, there's some other good ones. Black Label is good, Avatar is good, but Machine Head was fucking amazing. Oh. But yeah, there's a lot of music to listen to, but check this out. Visigoth, Conqueror's Oath. Let us know what you think. See you.